Okay, well, we're going to get started. Welcome. We'll start with introductions.
Senator Carol Vlett, I represent District 3, which is part of Bellevue and Papillion, Nebraska.
Machaela Cavanaugh, District 6, West Central Omaha.
Terrell McKinney, District 11, North Omaha.
We may have other senators coming in and out. It's kind of a hectic day, oddly, for July 31st, but it is. So this is not going to be recorded for any TV, but we do have a member of the Nebraska Legislative Study Group here. He's sitting up in front, the gentleman recording. So there will be a recording of this and it will be streamed online. So just want to let everyone know that. We will run this like a normal committee hearing because I counted the number of people here and there's probably going to be a few more coming in. We're going to limit it to 3 minutes and Margaret will be doing the light system. If you're not familiar with it, it'll be green. When you have 1 minute left, it'll go to yellow, and then red is when you should wrap up your thoughts. We do have to be out of here by 5 p.m. I promised the clerk's office. So this is an unofficial hearing, but we are excited to hear from everyone today and give anyone who would like an opportunity to share your thoughts about LR149 and social emotional learning. So with that, we will have our first testifier. Come on up. Anybody?
Do you want the sheet?
Yes, oh yes, and please fill out their sheet. Thank you, Karen. There are sheets over by the entrance.
No, Rachel doesn't want to go first, but you're first on the sheet.
That way we have a record of everyone who spoke. So you don't have to spell your name for the record.
Oh,
And
so
you
trained.
You can if you want to. It's helpful for us because I was like write down people's names.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much for hosting this meeting. My name is Rachel M. Gibson, R-A-C-H-E-L, M-G-I-B-S-O-N. You might know me, I'm the Vice President of Action for the League of Women Voters, but I'm not here in that capacity today. I'm here primarily as a mom of 2 little ones, and then also as a former career counselor at a university. So I want to share a story, first of all, from each of my kids, because if you have kids, you know they both need their story shared. So my big kid got in a fight with his brother and went to his room to calm down and came out, and I prepared myself for a grumpy kid all afternoon, and he came out with a surprisingly positive attitude, and I kind of said, well, what'd you do? Because that worked, do it again, please. And he said, you know, SEL in school, they were talking about how you think through your options, and then you think through the consequences, and I thought, I can be grumpy, and I can have a bad afternoon, I can ignore everyone and be lonely, or I can, you know, try to have a positive attitude and not have a bummer afternoon. And he decided the third was the best. So that is like a great example of what social emotional learning is, and I think it gets lost sometimes. When I asked my younger kiddo, who's going into 1st grade, what he liked about it, he said it so simply. He said, it helps me when I'm mad to figure out how not to be mad. And I think that, again, just really hits the nail on the head. So the other side I'm coming at this from is I'm a former career counselor at several universities, and we talked to employers a lot about what they were looking for in candidates. And almost always the top 3 things that came up were communication, ability to work in a team, and critical thinking. And those are the things that social emotional learning builds the building blocks for. Our employers will always tell us, I can teach them how to code, I can teach them, but I can't teach them how to get along with other people, I can't teach them how to think critically and that sort of thing. So when I think about SEL and the conversations about growing workforce in Nebraska and whatnot, it's really giving our students that foundational understanding of how to interact with people different than themselves, similar to themselves, to build that stronger community. So with that, I'll kind of wrap it up. Like I said, I'm here mostly as a mom, a little bit as a perspective from a career counselor. But ultimately, I really love the program that our school does for social emotional learning because it just makes my kids more successful and happier. Answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Next testifier, or speaker, not testifying, you're speaking. Next speaker, don't be shy. We don't fight. No.
Good
Good afternoon, Senators, and thank you for holding this public forum. My name is Jaden Speed, and this past May, I graduated from one of Nebraska's many great public schools. I'll be studying political science in the fall at George Washington University, the District of Columbia, and I'm here today to voice my strong opposition to the demonization of social emotional learning and any efforts to restrict access to knowledge in our public schools. LR147 and LR149 are extensions of a national culture war that seeks to demonize teachers and public education as a whole through manufactured issues like social emotional learning. Social emotional learning is a common sense cornerstone of childhood development. Concepts like empathy, kindness, and sharing are crucial to the development of children. I remember being taught these same concepts through daycare, and preschool, and elementary school. In my formative years, this wasn't demonized. I was extremely grateful to learn in a high school that valued mental health and sex education as well. Decreasing the stigma around mental health and sharing resources among adolescents means saving lives. Quality sex education also means saving lives as well, and it means giving young people the information to be safe. It is incredibly disappointing that the legislature has moved in a direction to take away key components of knowledge for young people. However, it's not surprising. As you know, this past year, the national culture war has made its way into the Nebraska legislature and our local school boards. The state of Nebraska is currently in litigation over its combined gender-affirming care and abortion ban. Grand Island Northwest Public Schools is in litigation over its shutter of a 54-year-old student newspaper which published articles relating to the LGBTQIA+ community. Kearney Public Schools has passed a policy that blatantly discriminates against transgender student athletes. Plattsmouth Community Schools and the Fremont City Council are engaged in book bans in their libraries. During the hearings on LR147 and LR149, which are sadly closed to public testimony, it was a group of hand-picked people, and they don't represent the majority of Nebraskans, students, or teachers. No one invited to speak at the hearing is a student. Students don't want the government to regulate what books they can read, what topics they can discuss, and what history they can know. We know that that's tyranny that's being pushed on us by the far right and by these extremists. The invited testifiers don't represent the majority of us. Nebraskans still have an opportunity to turn away from the national culture war. If the committee and the legislature rejects proposals that demonize public education and restrict access to knowledge for students in our public schools. Thank you.
Any questions? Thanks. Good luck at college. Next testifier, speaker. I'll get it by the end.
Thank you for doing this public hearing with real live public comment too. My name is Dave Richardson. I'm a retired teacher. I taught at two different high schools in the Omaha Public Schools and at Westside High School, and I retired in '04. And upon retirement, I did a little work with Metro Community College also. I am deeply concerned about a current trend in public education that I observed over the last few years, and that is the attitude and role of parents in our schools, which has changed dramatically. Parents used to be partners. By and large, teachers felt like we were on the same team. We supported each other in the pursuit of providing quality education and the development of good citizens. It was true then, and I believe it is still true, that teachers want to feel a partnership with parents. They want to be comfortable conferring with parents, colleagues, administrators, and other key players in working with students. If parents expressed questions or concerns about curricula, we felt comfortable inviting parents to visit our classroom, talk with us. Now many parents get their information from reactionary social media or from groups which are dedicated to providing false narratives and distorted versions of what and how students are learning. These ideas are often from sources who are not educators, who know little of what goes on in our classrooms and are mostly concerned with ultra-conservative political agendas that are aimed mainly at disempowering educators. Professional educators have never been better prepared. They learn in their education courses before they're certified about brain studies, about how to deal with learning disabilities, the multicultural nature of the student body. These classes are required, as I said, for certification. Often parents have been duped into believing the myth that educators no longer teach the sacred 3 R's. Of course we do. Many uninformed critics think we have replaced basic skills learning with teaching social and emotional skills and indoctrinating students with a quote woke agenda, whatever that is. It is a total fallacy that there is some kind of zero-sum game with learning, as if a teacher teaches basic skills for 30 minutes and then says, okay, now let's work on social and emotional skills for 30 minutes. Wrong-o. The two concepts coexist in a holistic Gestalt learning package. Thus, there is no time-space trade-off with these items. My final concern is the false narrative that teachers are selfish. And all we care about is salary, and that we are attempting to indoctrinate students with woke dogma. Also CRT, LGBTQ agendas, or worse. They claim many teachers are groomers, preying upon students. Senators, we teach proven truths and how to discover them. When new discoveries are made, we recognize the necessity of understanding and using those truths. One of the truths that is plaguing education now is, why are teachers leaving the profession? On this particular measure, I hope you can pledge that you will be steadfast in your support of our public schools and our educators. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for you. You're a retired school teacher. Do you student teach now or substitute teach now?
I taught some at Metro Community College, as I mentioned, and also worked with the Teachers Association for about 12 or 13 years as the title was Executive Secretary.
I know our teacher shortage is a huge problem, and retired teachers are taking on that burden a lot. So.
I have done some work with classes at Westside. In all honesty, I have not been a formal substitute teacher. I think many of my colleagues are.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just a quick question, because you have been in the past and still connected to what's going on right now. The thing that's puzzled me, and I guess I want to hear justification, I want to hear that my thought process is right. So part of what we're talking about is also a parent's bill of rights.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read through it. Am I wrong in my interpretation? Don't those parents already have those rights that are on that bill of rights?
Absolutely, and they have been exercised over the years. I think that, as I mentioned, in general, the relationship between teachers and parents is strained in many ways. I don't think it should be. I think it can be a team thing. But anyway, yeah, they do have those rights.